The starship, Horizon Dawn, entered the orbit of Vorkala with slow, careful motion. The engines hummed like a calm breath, and the blue lights inside the ship flickered softly. Aiden Reese stood close to the wide viewing window, staring down at the alien world below. The planet's surface glowed with strange golden plains and tall crystal ridges that sparkled like giant blades made of glass. Even from space, Vorkala looked dangerous. Beautiful, but dangerous. Aiden was not a soldier. He was a linguist, one of the best in the Terran Alliance. He was small compared to the armored Marines around him, and his hands never stopped shaking when he got nervous. Right now, he was very nervous. He had been trained for the meeting, of course. He had studied the Kraxith language for years, learning why certain words were sung instead of spoken, and why some tones were forbidden. But studying something on a screen and speaking in front of the Kraxith Queen herself were two completely different things. Commander Hale, a large woman with a voice like steel, stepped beside him. "You'll do fine," she said, not looking at him but keeping her eyes on the planet. Aiden tried to smile. "Let's hope your definition of fine matches theirs." Hale gave a small snort. "Just don't insult their ancestors, their warrior ghosts, or whatever else they believe in. And don't cough. Apparently, coughing during a greeting ceremony is considered a challenge to fight." Aiden swallowed hard. "Great. Wonderful. No pressure. R." Before Hale could reply, the intercom chimed. "Diplomatic team, prepare for shuttle departure." Aiden adjusted his collar and followed the others to the docking bay. His heart thumped loud in his chest. Humanity had been at a tense border standoff with the Kraxith Dominion for months. One wrong word today could restart a war neither side wanted. And somehow, Aiden had become the key speaker for the opening ceremony. He wondered if the universe was laughing at him. The landing. The shuttle descended through Vorkala's thick golden clouds until the palace grounds came into view. The Queen's citadel was enormous, built from dark stone and glowing blue veins of energy. Its towers curved like the horns of some ancient beast. Soldiers with chitin armor stood in perfect rows, unmoving as statues. When the shuttle doors opened, warm, dry air rushed in. It smelled like metal and dust. Aiden stepped onto the ground, trying not to stare at the Kraxith guards too much. They were insectoid in form, tall, multi-armed, with polished plates covering their bodies like natural armor. Their large crystal eyes followed every movement the humans made. Commander Hale whispered, "Remember, don't run. They think running is suspicious." "I can barely walk," Aiden whispered back. They were guided through large gates into the main ceremonial hall. The hall was a vast space full of slanted pillars and glowing symbols. Hundreds of Kraxith nobles stood on tall platforms, watching silently. Their presence alone was enough to make Aiden's skin crawl. And then the Queen entered. Queen Hellerix was taller than any Kraxith Aiden had seen. Her armor-like plates were black, with streaks of silver, and her wings folded neatly against her back, like the pages of a heavy book. Her eyes shone with deep blue light. Power seemed to radiate from her with every step. Aiden felt like he had swallowed ice. Commander Hale stepped forward first, performing the respectful human bow. The Kraxith nobles watched closely. Every motion mattered. Every breath mattered. The Queen raised one of her arms, signaling for the human envoy to begin the greeting rite. Hale turned to Aiden and gave the small nod they had practiced. It was his turn. Aiden stepped forward slowly, trying to look calm. The hall was completely silent. He could hear his heartbeat echo in his ears. If he made even one mistake, the ceremony would fail. He inhaled deeply and spoke the ancient words in the Kraxith ceremonial dialect. The words were difficult, sharp and soft at the same time, with tones that needed exact pitch. Aiden's voice echoed through the chamber like a calm wave. Hellerix ka Thurnkal. May the clarity of the stars guide your mind, and may your people rise united. The translation was simple, but the sound carried deep cultural meaning. Aiden had practiced the phrase thousands of times, but he was not ready for what happened next. The reaction. The queen froze. Her wings snapped open a few centimeters. Her armor plates shifted with a metallic click. A bright blue ripple of light burst across her body, starting from the crest of her head and traveling to her feet. The nobles gasped. Aiden stepped back, confused. Did I do something wrong? The queen stared at him. Hard. Too hard. Her chest rose and fell quickly, and her claws flexed. Her entire posture looked ready for battle. Yet her eyes were fixed on Aiden, with something between shock and recognition. Suddenly, the hall exploded with movement. Craxith guards rushed forward, surrounding the queen in a protective circle. Other nobles began clicking and hissing, speaking in rapid telepathic bursts too fast for Aiden to translate. Commander Hale moved close to Aiden. "What did you do?" "I just said the greeting," he whispered back. "Did you add anything?" "No." "Did your voice crack?" "No, well, maybe, but not in an insulting way." The queen lifted a hand, stopping all movement in the hall. The guards froze. The nobles fell silent. She stepped toward Aiden. 1 step. 2 steps. 3. Aiden's entire body tensed. He had no armor, no weapons, nothing. He was just a linguist, and she was a being who could tear him apart like paper. The queen leaned slightly forward, lowering her head to Aiden's level. Her voice was low, vibrating like thunder held tightly inside a cage. "Speak again." Aiden blinked. "What?" "Speak the words again." He hesitated. Was this a test? A trap? Hale motioned him to do it. Aiden swallowed, gathered his breath, and repeated the greeting phrase. The queen trembled. Another blue ripple flashed over her body, stronger this time. The guards leaned back, startled. The queen's eyes widened, glowing brighter. Aiden watched in fear. Something was happening, and he didn't understand any of it. The queen straightened her posture and spoke loudly, clearly, so that the entire chamber heard her. His voice carries the resonant tone. A wave of whispers spread across the hall. Resonant tone. Battle instinct. Awakening. Impossible. Not seen since the War Herald. The alien words flew past Aiden's mind like a storm. The queen pointed at Aiden. "You, come with me." Commander Hale stepped forward immediately. "With respect, Your Majesty, he is part of..." Silence. The queen's voice shook the hall. Hale fell quiet. Even the human marines stiffened. The queen focused on Aiden again. "Your voice has awoken my dormant battle instinct. A force my people believed lost forever. You will follow me. Now." Aiden felt his stomach twist. "Why me?" he whispered, barely able to speak. The queen replied with a heavy, ancient weight in her tone. "Because your voice may be the only thing that can save my species." Before Aiden could ask anything, 2 Craxith guards gently but firmly guided him toward the queen's private chamber entrance. The hall doors shut behind them, like the closing jaws of a massive beast. Aiden had come to speak a simple greeting. He had not expected that his voice would shake an entire empire. He certainly had not expected the alien queen to look at him as though he carried the fate of her world. But now, whether he wanted it or not, he was involved. And the real story was only beginning. The door to the queen's private chamber closed behind Aiden with a heavy metallic thud. The echo rolled across the room like distant thunder. The space inside was enormous, but strangely quiet. Soft blue lights glowed from crystal lanterns attached to the walls, casting shifting shadows that made the place feel alive. Aiden stood frozen near the entrance. His heart hammered in his chest, and his palms were cold with sweat. 2 Craxith guards remained behind him, standing completely still like statues carved from black stone. Their glowing eyes watched every breath he took. At the far end of the chamber, Queen Hilarix waited, She stood facing a tall window made from some kind of shimmering glass. Beyond it, Aiden could see the golden plains and the swirling crystal formations. But even the beautiful view did not calm him. His throat felt tight. The Queen spoke first, her voice deep but calmer than before. "You fear me." Aiden swallowed. "Most people would, Your Majesty." The Queen turned around slowly. The blue light reflected off her armored plates as she approached him. This time, her steps were soft, controlled, almost gentle. "Fear is natural," she said, "but unnecessary. I did not bring you here to harm you." Aiden tried to breathe normally. "Then why am I here?" The Queen studied him for a long moment, as though searching for something in his eyes. Then, she motioned for him to follow her deeper into the chamber. He obeyed, walking carefully. She led him to a circular platform in the center of the room. Strange runes were carved into the floor, glowing with a faint white light. Aiden had seen pictures of Kraxith technology before, but nothing like this. "This is a resonance circle," the Queen explained. "Only leaders of my kind may stand upon it. But you must stand here as well." Aiden froze. "Because your voice awakened something inside me, something that has been silent for hundreds of years." Her words echoed slowly in the quiet chamber. "My people call it the battle instinct." Aiden frowned. "Battle instinct? You mean, like a fighting spirit?" "More than that," the Queen said. "It is our ancient neural unity. When activated, a leader gains perfect clarity, strength of mind, strength of strategy, the ability to link with the minds of all Kraxith soldiers at once during war." Aiden blinked. "You control them?" "Not control," she corrected. "Guide. Protect. Strengthen. It is a bond built from thousands of years of evolution. With it, our armies became one mind. We were unstoppable." Aiden thought about this. "So what happened?" The Queen's wings shifted, making a soft, metallic sound. "The hive plague happened." Those words felt heavy, like they carried the weight of a planet. She tapped a pattern on the circle's edge, and the runes changed color. A large holographic display formed in the air. Images flickered before Aiden, Kraxith soldiers collapsing, glowing parasites burrowing into alien skin, telepathic waves breaking apart like shattered glass. Aiden stepped back in shock. What is that?" he whispered. "The parasite storms," Hellerich said quietly. "A hive plague that infects our neural network. It disrupts our connection. It confuses our warriors. It tears our unity apart." The images changed again. Huge black clouds of parasite swarms covered entire battlefields. Kraxith warriors fought desperately, but stumbled, unable to coordinate. Their telepathic waves twisted into static. Chaos spread like wildfire. "When my people cannot think as one," the Queen continued, "we become weak, disorganized." Aiden stared at the display, speechless. Hellerich lowered her head slightly. "Over the last few years, millions of my people have fallen. Entire clans have lost their leaders. The parasite storms grow stronger every month. Soon, my race will not be able to resist them." Aiden felt a sharp pain in his chest, not physical pain, but the kind that came from hearing something deeply tragic. "But how does my voice matter?" he asked softly. "I'm just a linguist. I don't have special powers." The Queen turned to him fully now. "When you spoke the ceremonial greeting," she said, "your voice reached a frequency that resonated with my neural crest. Something I believed lost responded." She placed a hand gently over the side of her head, where thin silver plates formed a crown-like shape. My battle instinct woke, my mind cleared. For the first time in many years, the plague's fog lifted. Aiden felt his heartbeat slow for a moment. "So my voice heals you?" "It stabilizes me," Hellerich answered. "It gives me clarity." With your voice, I can think as I once did like a true queen. And without it? The queen closed her eyes. When she opened them again, they looked dimmer. Without it, I am dying. Slowly, but surely. And when I fall, my people fall with me. Aiden felt the room grow colder. He was just a human, an ordinary human. He had never imagined he could affect an entire species. Aiden rubbed his hands together, trying to stop their shaking. Your Majesty. Why me? Why my voice? Humans don't have anything like this. The queen walked past him, her steps purposeful. Long ago, she said, there was a defender of my people called the War Herald. He was a Kraxith warrior who used a unique voice tone to unify our clans during the Great Divide War. But his line died out centuries ago. She stopped in front of the hologram. Your voice carries the same frequency, the rarest resonance in our history. Aiden's eyes widened. But I'm not related to your people. I'm not even the same species. Exactly, the queen said. Which means someone, or something, beyond our understanding, shaped this coincidence. Or perhaps it is fate. Aiden let out a long breath. So what do you want from me? The queen turned to him, her expression firm but not harsh. I need you to help me unite the clans. Aiden nearly choked. The queen nodded. Your voice can strengthen me, and with my strength, I can strengthen them. Together, we can rebuild the unity we lost. Aiden shook his head slowly. I'm a linguist. I translate. I study. I don't lead armies. You do not need to lead, Hellerix replied. You need only speak. That doesn't make me feel better. The queen stepped closer, lowering her head until her glowing blue eyes were level with his. Aiden Reese, she said calmly, my people do not believe in coincidence. When destiny calls, it calls only once. Aiden looked away. He felt a strange mix of fear, responsibility, and disbelief. Destiny? Him? He didn't even like public speaking. The queen spoke again, more softly this time. I know this is much to ask. But if you refuse, my people will fall. The parasite storms will spread. And after us, they will come for others. Aiden felt a chill run down his spine. Are you saying humanity could be next? The queen nodded. The hive plague consumes whatever stands in its way. Silence filled the chamber. Aiden's mind raced with images of Earth, cities, families, everything he cared about being threatened by the same parasite storms he saw in the hologram. He couldn't let that happen. The queen straightened her posture. Will you help us, Aiden Reese? He closed his eyes. When he finally looked at her again, his fear hadn't disappeared. But something stronger had taken its place. Resolve. Yes, he said quietly. I'll help. For the first time, Aiden saw something in the queen's expression that looked almost like relief. Then our journey begins at sunrise, she said. We must travel to the outer clans. We must show them that I have regained my strength. And we must do it before the next parasite storm arrives. Aiden nodded, though his stomach twisted. The queen raised one hand. And Aiden? Yes? You saved more lives with your voice today than you realize. Aiden didn't know how to answer that. He simply stood there, letting her words sink in. He had come to speak a ceremonial phrase. Now he was part of a mission that could decide the future of an entire species. The fate of Vorkala, and maybe much more, now rested on a human voice. And tomorrow, it all would begin. Morning on Vorkala came with a soft golden light that spread across the land like a warm blanket. The tall crystal ridges sparkled with the rising sun, making the world look almost peaceful. But Aiden knew there was nothing peaceful about the mission ahead. He stood outside the Queen's citadel, watching the Kraxith warriors prepare for departure. Dozens of insectoid soldiers moved with perfect discipline, packing supplies, adjusting their gleaming armor, and securing strange alien weapons that hummed with quiet energy. Their precision amazed him. Even without their full telepathic unity, They worked faster than any human unit he had ever seen. Queen Hellerix stood at the center of the activity. Her wings were folded behind her, and her armor plates reflected the morning light like polished stone. She looked stronger, today, more focused. Aiden knew why. He had spent half the night speaking phrases the Queen asked for. Every time he spoke in the ceremonial dialect, her mind strengthened, and the fog caused by the plague lifted a little more. It was exhausting for him, but she insisted it was necessary. Now, as she approached him, he noticed her steps were steady. The parasite's influence seemed weaker. "Aiden Reese," she said, her voice firm. "We leave in 5 minutes." He nodded nervously. "Where are we going first?" "To the Rakon clan. They control the northern territories. If they join us, other clans will follow. If they refuse..." She paused, her expression turning dark. "Our mission will be much harder." Aiden tried to smile, but it came out shaky. "And I just talk to them?" "You strengthen me," Hellerix corrected gently. "I will handle the diplomacy." That made him feel only slightly better. The journey to the outer lands. The group traveled across Vorkala in a large transport crawler. The vehicle looked like a giant 6-legged machine made of black metal and glowing blue veins. Inside, the air smelled faintly of heated crystal. Aiden sat near a viewing window, watching the landscape pass by. Golden plains stretched endlessly, broken by tall, jagged rock formations that looked like frozen waves. Kraxith soldiers sat near him, silent and alert. They were intimidating, but Aiden noticed something he hadn't before: fear. It was small, hidden behind their armor, but it was there. They were afraid of losing their queen. Afraid of losing themselves. He understood why they needed her. Suddenly, the queen spoke from the front of the cabin. He stood quickly and walked to her side. "I will need your voice again soon," she said. "The Rakon clan will test me. They must see that my strength has returned." Aiden nodded. "I'll do whatever I can." The queen seemed to study his expression. "Of course I'm afraid," Aiden admitted. "But fear doesn't mean I won't try." A slow, almost invisible shift crossed her posture, a Kraxith sign of respect. "You have the spirit of a warrior," she said, "even without armor." Aiden didn't know how to respond to that, so he simply looked out the window again. The crawler climbed a steep ridge and stopped at the top. Below them, the land opened into a wide valley filled with dark red structures. The Rakon clan fortress. It looked even more dangerous than the Queen's citadel. The Rakon arena. The crawler descended into the valley. Dozens of Rakon warriors gathered outside the fortress, their armor darker and their antennae sharper than the Queen's soldiers. Their leader, Warlord Zerak, stood at the front. Zerak was huge, larger than Hellerix, with thicker armor plates and 3 long scars across his chest. His eyes glowed a deep red. "We welcome Queen Hellerix," Zerak said, though his tone held no warmth. "But we question her strength." Aiden felt the tension rise. The Queen stepped forward calmly. "You question because you fear," she replied, "but I have returned with clarity." Zerek's antennae twitched. "Then prove it." The soldiers around him hissed in agreement. Hellerix turned slightly to Aiden. "Speak." Aiden swallowed hard. His mouth felt dry, but he stepped forward, took a breath, and spoke the ceremonial greeting phrase once again. His voice echoed across the valley. A blue light burst from the Queen's body. It rippled outward like a wave. Her wings stretched fully, shining with energy. Her posture grew taller, stronger, more powerful. The Rakon warriors flinched in surprise. Zerak took one step back. "Impossible. The battle instinct?" Hellerix stood firm. "I am restored." The Rakon murmured among themselves, their voices sharp and unsure. Aiden let out a slow breath. It had worked. But the moment was interrupted. The warlord's challenge. Zerak raised one of his thick arms. "Queen Hellerix may be strong again," he said. But That does not make her fit to lead all clans. A leader must survive the arena trial. Aiden felt ice in his chest. Arena? Trial? Hellerix's voice turned hard. You demand the old ways? The clans demand it, Zerak said. Prove your strength, or leave in shame. Aiden glanced around. The Kraxith soldiers beside him shifted nervously. Even the queen looked troubled for a moment. Then she turned to Aiden. You must strengthen me again before the trial, she whispered. Aiden nodded quickly. Of course. They were led into a massive arena carved into the valley floor. The walls were made of dark stone, marked with scratches and symbols from countless battles. The floor was covered in dust and small shards of broken crystal. Thousands of Raccoon warriors filled the stands, clicking their mandibles in anticipation. Aiden stood behind the queen as she faced Zerak in the center of the arena. Zerak raised his claws. Let the trial begin. The battle of voices and strength. Hellerix closed her eyes. Aiden, she said softly. Speak. Aiden took a deep breath. His legs were shaking, but he lifted his chin. He spoke the ceremonial phrase, not loudly, but clearly. The effect was immediate. Blue light spread across the queen, strengthening her armor plates. Her wings extended like sharp blades. Her eyes glowed brighter than ever before. Zerak roared and charged. The queen moved with incredible speed, dodging his strike and countering with her own. Their blows echoed through the arena like thunder. Dust exploded from the ground with each impact. Aiden watched with wide eyes. Every time the queen began to slow, he spoke another phrase. Her energy surged again. Her movements sharpened. The crowd gasped with every exchange. Zerak slammed his arm down, sending a shockwave through the arena floor. The queen stumbled. The parasite plague still clung to her mind. Fighting her strength, Aiden panicked. He had to help, but he didn't know what else to say. Then he remembered something. A rhythmic speaking pattern he had studied. An ancient, human war chant. He began to speak it softly. The words were simple, but the rhythm was steady, powerful. The queen's eyes widened. Her strength exploded. She charged forward, striking Zerak with a force that shook the arena. The warlord fell backward, collapsing onto the stone floor. The crowd fell silent. Zerak slowly lifted his head, breathing heavily. You have regained what was lost, he said. The Raccoon clan follows you. The arena erupted with cheers and clicking sounds. The queen stood proudly, her wings raised high. Aiden let out a long breath, almost collapsing from relief. A new alliance. Later, outside the arena, Hellerix approached Aiden. You saved me, she said. Again. Aiden smiled weakly. I thought I was going to faint. You stood strong, she replied. Your rhythm, it matched the old unity patterns. Aiden blinked. You mean, it helped more than the ceremonial phrase? It did, the queen said. It connected my mind more clearly than anything before. Aiden felt a small spark of pride. Then, I can keep doing it. You must, she said. We will need this strength for the next clan. Aiden hesitated. How many clans do we have to visit? The queen looked across the Golden Valley. Many, she said. But today, we succeeded. The Raccoon stand with us. Aiden felt hope rising inside him. For the first time, the mission didn't feel impossible. He had helped save a clan today. Tomorrow, they would try again. And the journey to unite a fractured species was only just beginning. The sky over the northern valleys darkened as the Queen's transport crawler moved away from the Raccoon territory. Aiden sat near the window again, watching the golden plains slowly fade into long stretches of sharp black mountains. The land ahead looked harsher, colder, and the atmosphere inside the crawler felt the same. The Raccoon clan had joined them, yes. But the Queen's expression had become more serious since the arena trial. Something weighed on her mind. Aiden could tell. He walked toward her, She stood at the center of the crawler, analyzing strange, glowing tablets that displayed shifting symbols. They looked like maps mixed with medical diagrams. "Your Majesty," Aiden said carefully, "are you all right? You seem worried." The Queen looked up, her blue eyes dimmer than before. "We have won an ally," she said. "But alliances alone will not save us. We must understand the plague. Without that knowledge, unity means nothing." Aiden nodded slowly. "You think the plague is growing stronger?" "Not just stronger," she answered. "Smarter." Aiden felt a chill. "Smarter? How can a parasite be smart?" "Rainly smart." The Queen tapped the tablet. A holo image rose between them, an enlarged view of the parasite. Its body twisted like a dark worm with sharp, crystalline spikes. "This is not a natural parasite," she said. "Its behavior has changed. It adapts too quickly. Lands infected last month show different patterns than those infected last year, and the plague spreads toward regions without Kraxith presence." Aiden frowned. "But why would a parasite go where it has nothing to infect?" "That," Helleric said, "is what we must discover." As the crawler continued toward the next clan territory, the atmosphere grew tense. The Kraxith soldiers whispered among themselves, worried. Even their sharp movements seemed slower. The Queen turned to Aiden again. "We must investigate the remains of an old research outpost," she said. "It was abandoned when the plague first appeared. But before my mind became clouded, I suspected something." Aiden leaned closer. "Suspected what?" "That the plague was not born on Vorkala." Aiden froze. "You think someone engineered it?" The Queen's voice lowered to a whisper. "Yes. The silent outpost." The transport crawler stopped near a massive canyon. At the bottom stood a small metallic structure buried under dust and cracked stone. The air felt thick, too still. Even the wind was quiet here. Aiden followed the Queen down the steep path, with 2 Kraxith guards behind them. The outpost doors were half open, bent and rusted. A dark smell drifted from inside, like burnt metal mixed with old decay. "This place feels wrong," Aiden whispered. "Yes," the Queen said, "because it remembers." Together, they stepped inside. The interior was dim, lit only by the faint glow of old crystals embedded in the walls. Large tables were scattered with broken instruments and shattered data screens. A thick layer of dust covered everything. Aiden felt a cold shiver crawl up his neck. The Queen moved to a large console and brushed her hand over the crystals. They flickered weakly. After a few seconds, one screen lit up. Static. Broken records. But something remained. Aiden stepped beside her. "What are we looking for?" "Proof," she said quietly. "Proof that my fear is correct." The console flickered again, this time showing a video blurred and damaged. A Kraxith scientist appeared on the screen, breathing heavily, looking terrified. "Not natural," the voice stuttered. "Cannot control. They changed the design too fast." Aiden tensed. "Design?" He said design. The Queen nodded slowly. "Continue." The screen showed flashes of chaos, alarms, smoke, parasites crawling across walls. The scientist shouted something before the video cut out. Silence fell. Aiden exhaled shakily. "Your Majesty, this doesn't look like an accident." "No," she replied. She tapped the console again, causing another file to load. This time, a hologram of a star map appeared. It showed dozens of systems around Vorkala, each marked with red dots. "These are the regions attacked by the parasite storms," the Queen explained. "Notice anything?" Aiden leaned closer. The red dots formed a rough circle around one area, an area not marked by any star. "What is that place?" he asked. "A dead sector," Helleric said. "No planets, no life. But long ago, it was home to an ancient conflict." Aiden stared at her. "You think someone used this area to create the plague?" "I think." she replied. That someone feared the Kraxith Dominion, gaining strength again. And they wanted to stop us. Aiden felt a knot grow in his stomach. But who? And why now? The Queen closed her eyes. There were once 6 major powers in this part of the galaxy. Only 3 remain. The others fell or became silent. One of them had great skill in bioengineering. Aiden's eyes widened. You believe another species did this? Perhaps one we thought extinct, she said. Or perhaps a hidden faction. The outpost suddenly shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Aiden jumped back. What was that? The Queen's wings rose slightly, alert. Movement. Another sound echoed like countless tiny legs scraping across metal. Aiden's heart froze. Parasites? The Queen pulled him close. Stay behind me. The guards moved into defensive positions as dark shapes crawled from cracks in the walls, small parasite worms with glowing red eyes. Aiden stepped back, terrified. They're here? How? They followed the old trails, the Queen said. This outpost still holds plague energy. The parasites lunged. The guards struck them with glowing blades, cutting them down. But more kept coming, crawling like a wave of living shadows. The Queen shouted, Aiden, speak! He panicked. What should I say? Anything with resonance. Aiden took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and began the rhythmic chant he had used in the arena. The echo of his voice spread through the chamber. The parasites hesitated. They twitched, confused, as if the sound broke their connection. The Queen surged forward, blue energy flowing through her body. She tore through the swarm with powerful strikes. The guards followed, clearing the last of the parasites. When the final one fell, the chamber fell silent again. Aiden collapsed to his knees, breathing hard. The Queen helped him stand. You did well. I'm shaking, Aiden confessed. That means you are still alive, she said. The hidden message. After recovering, the Queen returned to the console and activated one last file. This time, a symbol appeared, one Aiden had never seen before. It looked like a circle made of twisted, thorn-like lines. What is that? He asked. The Queen's voice dropped to a whisper. A mark of the hollow veil. Aiden frowned. Who are they? Ghosts, the Queen answered. A hidden group from ancient times. They believed the Kraxith were too powerful. They wanted to control the galaxy by controlling unity itself. Aiden stared at the symbol, uneasy. And you think they created the hive plague? I think they are not as extinct as we believed, Hellerich said. And now, they want to finish what they began. The realization hit Aiden like cold water. If they attacked your species first. Yes, the Queen said. They may target others next. Aiden felt the weight of her words. Humanity, other worlds, all at risk. What do we do now? He asked. The Queen turned away from the console and walked toward the exit. Now, she said, we gather the clans. We prepare for war. She looked over her shoulder at him. And Aiden, we will need your voice more than ever. Aiden followed her out of the outpost, his mind racing. He had come to speak a greeting. Now he was helping uncover a conspiracy that could threaten countless worlds. The wind outside picked up, carrying a faint buzzing sound. The next parasite storm was coming, and their time was running out. The sky over Vorkala darkened as the Queen's transport crawler raced toward the central Dominion citadel. Storm clouds twisted above them, glowing with red threads of parasite energy. It looked like the planet itself was bleeding into the sky. Aiden sat quietly, staring out the window. He could feel a deep pressure in the air, as if the entire world was holding its breath. The Queen, Hellerich, stood beside him, wings tight, eyes locked forward. She looked calm on the surface, but Aiden could sense the tension beneath her confidence. This was the final moment. The hollow veil had revealed itself through the ancient outpost, the corrupted research files, and the parasite storm patterns. Now their forces were moving toward the Dominion Citadel, where the Craxith clans were gathering for the first time in decades. The Queen needed every one of them united. But unity was not guaranteed. Not when fear ruled many hearts. Aiden took a deep breath. "Do you really think the clans will listen?" Hellerix looked at him, her expression softer than before. "They must. Without unity, Vorkala falls. And with it, maybe more worlds. And my voice will help?" "Yes," she said. "Your voice resonates with them. They feel it. It reaches their instincts." She paused. "And it reaches mine." Aiden lowered his eyes but nodded. "Then I'll do what I can." The crawlers slowed as they approached the Citadel gate's massive obsidian towers with glowing blue veins that stretched to the clouds. Thousands of Craxith soldiers stood outside, guarding the entrance. Their armor gleamed under the storm-filled sky. When the Queen stepped out, all fell silent. Aiden followed, heart pounding. Inside the Hall of Wings, the Citadel interior was enormous. It opened into a circular chamber with a high ceiling carved with the history of the Craxith Dominion. 6 stone thrones stood around the room, one for each clan. Some thrones were occupied, others empty. The Queen walked toward the central platform. 5 clan leaders stood waiting, each wearing unique armor. The Rakon chieftain, who Aiden had already met. The Vralin matriarch, tall and slender with green-tinted scales. The Karuan general, built like a living wall. The Zalai speaker, with long crystalline horns. The Iridan warlord, whose armor carried scars from past wars. Each regarded the Queen with different emotions: respect, caution. The Iridan warlord spoke first, voice sharp. "Queen Hellerix, you call us here with claims of a hidden enemy. But we have seen no proof." "Queen, no." Aiden felt anger rise. After everything they had seen at the outpost, how could they still doubt? The Queen raised her hand. "I will show proof." She stepped onto the central platform as the chamber lights dimmed. A hologram of the parasite storms appeared above them, spread across the planet. Then more holograms showed the outpost recordings. The terrified scientist, the symbols of the hollow veil, the corrupted experiments. The clan leaders watched in silence. Then the Vralin matriarch spoke. "This proves the plague is engineered. But who controls it? And why now?" The Queen gestured to Aiden. "For that, we need him." Aiden froze as all eyes turned toward him. The pressure was immense, like standing under a mountain. Hellerix whispered, "Speak. Your resonance will guide them." Aiden stepped forward. His hands trembled, but he lifted his chin. He thought about the arena, about the outpost, about the parasites crawling through walls, about the hidden threat waiting in empty space. He opened his mouth and began to speak. The sound was calm at first, then stronger. It echoed through the chamber, reaching the high walls, the carvings, the crystal veins. The Craxith leaders stiffened, their bodies responding instinctively to the resonance inside his voice. Aiden spoke with simple words. "Someone wants to destroy you. Someone fears your strength. Someone made the plague to break your clans apart. But you still stand. And you can still fight. But only together." The sound traveled deeper, like a pulse spreading through each warrior's chest. The Zalai speaker leaned forward, surprised. His voice. "It feels like command instinct." The Karuan general nodded slowly. "It calls to unity." The Iridan warlord, who had doubted the most, felt his breath shift. He stepped back, eyes wide. This human. His voice triggers instinct harmony. Aiden took another breath and continued. "The hollow veil wants you divided. They want Vorkala alone. But you are not alone. You have each other. You have a queen. And you have hope." Silence followed. A long, heavy silence. Then the Rakan chieftain placed his hand on his chest. "We will follow the queen." The Vralin matriarch stepped forward. "We stand with the Dominion." One by one. All 5 leaders agreed. The clans were united. The storm breaks open. Before celebrations could begin, a deep rumble shook the earth. A tremor. Then another. Aiden spun toward the entrance. "What's happening?" A massive explosion burst from the sky. Red lightning fell like burning chains. The storm clouds split, revealing a dark shape descending toward the citadel, a massive parasite core beast, the largest Aiden had ever seen. Its body was twisted, covered in writhing spikes, and its central eye burned like crimson fire. The hollow veil had sent it. The queen's wings flared. "2 arms!" The chamber erupted with movement. Warriors grabbed weapons and armor as alarms screamed across the citadel. Aiden stood frozen until the queen grabbed his shoulders. "Aiden, your voice. It weakens them." He nodded quickly. "I'll try." They ran outside. The sky had turned red. The core beast dropped parasite pods across the battlefield. Each pod cracked open, releasing swarms of worms that crawled toward the Kraxith soldiers. The clans charged into battle together for the first time in years. The queen leaped into the air, wings glowing with blue energy. She slashed through parasites with incredible speed. Her warriors followed, fighting as one. But the core beast was gigantic. Its roar shook the mountains. Aiden stepped forward, heart pounding. This was it, the moment everything had led to. He cupped his hands around his mouth and shouted not words, but pure sound. A deep, powerful resonance that shook the air. The parasites stumbled. The core beast hesitated. Its movement slowed. The queen flew to Aiden's side. "Again!" He shouted once more, louder, pushing every breath he had into the sound. The resonance exploded outward like a shockwave. The core beast shrieked, its spikes cracking. The Kraxith seized the moment. All 5 clan leaders unleashed their energy attacks at once. Blue, green, red, silver, and gold beams struck the monster. The queen dove toward the creature's chest and plunged her blade deep into its core. The core beast convulsed, then collapsed, turning into ash-like dust. The battlefield fell silent. The parasite storm faded. The red lightning vanished. The sky slowly returned to its natural pale blue. They had won. After the battle, hours later, the clans gathered again in the citadel. Wounded were treated. Fires were put out. The sky was calm. Aiden sat on a stone step, exhausted. His throat ached from shouting. He felt like he might fall asleep, standing up. The queen approached him quietly. "You saved us," she said. Aiden smiled weakly. "No, we saved each other." She looked at him for a long moment. "The hollow veil will return. They will not stop. But today, you helped unite the Dominion. That has not happened in generations." Aiden nodded. "I'll keep helping, as long as you need me." The queen placed her hand gently on his shoulder. "And we will stand with you as well. Humanity will not fight alone." Aiden looked up at the sky, now calm and clear. The future was uncertain. The hollow veil was still somewhere in the dark. But unity had returned to Vorkala, and Aiden had found a place where his voice mattered. For now, that was enough.